Hello, my fiery friends. Welcome to another awesome and fiery fun stream. I'm your host, the Infernoman here, and hopefully you're having a wonderful day wherever you are at. So, we'll of course continue our deep dive into everything that the Secrets of Strixhaven has to offer. But what will we be playing today? Well, I'm glad you asked. So without further ado, let's just jump into it right now and show you exactly what we're going to be playing with today. Alright, so without further ado, join me as we continue on to the Timeless format for just a little bit longer, everyone. There's a couple more powerful cards that have been added into the game thanks to the Mystical Archives, and I really want to play with them. Also just because last stream was a bit of a flub when it came to trying to make something powerful in the format. So this time, we're out for revenge, and we're going to be playing a little bit on the dark side. So what I mean by that is, join me today in the Timeless format as we put together a deck that is hoping to just mess with our opponent and make them rage quit on the spot. This is Blue Lock. Okay, so now that we have that little intro out of the way, let's kind of break down again how this is going to work. For those of you that are watching, for longtime viewers, or again, if you're brand new to this, whether it's live or on the replay, we'll cover the deck as a whole, talk about the stats briefly, go over every single card and what we're trying to do with our game plan. Then we'll play as many matches as we can in best of one in Timeless Ranked, and if you do like what the deck is trying to do, we'll show you how you can upgrade the deck if you want to take it to the next level. So, Blue Lock here, as you can see from the stats, is going to be a mono blue deck with an average mana curve of about 1.8. We're going to be rocking a total of 16 creatures, 16 instants, 4 sorceries, 4 artifacts, 4 enchantments, and 16 lands. So, the name Blue Lock is trying to hopefully just lock our opponent out of the game and prevent them from doing anything. So specifically for that, we're going to be utilizing a lot of very, very powerful cards in the Timeless format. This is, again, going to be a little bit non-budget, although I should say, technically it's budget in Timeless. So what I mean by that is, we're going to be utilizing about 16 rares and or mythics, but I know in actual paper it's much more expensive than that. So just as an FYI for you guys. But otherwise, the whole point of the deck is just to kind of counter everything our opponent tries to throw at us until we can get the coast clear, throw down some of our key pieces, just get a little aggro damage in, draw some cards, and hopefully just out-tempo our opponent to hopefully beat them out and win the game. To do that, however, let's go over now the 1-drop slot to kind of give you an idea of like how we're going to just try to get that win. So, in the 1-drop slot here, we're going to be utilizing two 1-drop creatures, Delver of Secrets and Terramander here. Delver of Secrets is a mainstay that's been around for a long time in Magic, but again, it says at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You can reveal the card, and if it's an instant or sorcery, you can transform it into Insectile Aberration. So this is a human wizard that can flip from a 1/1 into a flying 3/2. Really cool, by the way, and this, of course, can get some good damage in once the game gets going. But we're also going to throw in, again, Terramander here. Terramander is a Salamander Drake that's a 1/1 that has flying. And it says, with Adapt 4, this ability will cost 1 less to cast for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. To Adapt 4 means that if we have a bunch of these instants and sorceries, we can get 4 +1/+1 counters on it, making it a flying 5/5. Granted, its ability says it's 8 mana, but as we can get the cost down cheaper and cheaper, this shouldn't be too hard to get through in the mid to late game. And hopefully we can provide a big flyer in the air. To make sure we can also have a little bit more backup beyond that, we'll have 2 more creatures in the 2-drop slot. We have Brineborn Cutthroat here, Merfolk Pirate. Whenever we cast a spell during an opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So it becomes a 2/1, but it can start growing into a 3/2, 4/3, 5/4. You get the idea. It's just going to get bigger and bigger as we, again, just out-tempo our opponents. And then finally, our last creature in the deck is going to be Flood Pit's Drowner here. Only 3 copies, but again, this is a Merfolk with Flash and Vigilance. Considering what kind of scary this card looks, I'm surprised it wasn't a Merfolk horror. Just miss on the typing there, at least in my opinion. But in any case, Flash and Vigilance, as I mentioned, it's a 2/1. When it enters, you tap a creature down and then put a stun counter on it. Then for 2 mana, you can then shuffle this creature and the creature with the stun counter in it into its owner's library. So the idea with that is we can just kind of hopefully just tap stuff, get it down. At the very least, we can at least push those blockers out of the way, which allows us to do more damage. Or if they are going to be troublesome cards that we also don't want to deal with on the field, we can then just use its ability to then push them out of the field and back into the deck, at least until we can get maybe a proper counter spell to get rid of them. But otherwise, from there, it's pretty much just going to be a mix and match of just bouncing things, countering things back and forth. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, if you will. So of course we are doing this because we got the most powerful counterspell in all of Magic the Gathering's history. In all 30 years, Force of Will is finally here in Arena, and this is actually a really, really nasty card. It looks a little bit clunky because it's a 5-mana counterspell, but the real purpose is in its ability. You can pay 1 life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than paying the 5 mana for the spell, and then you can counter a spell. So in other words, if you pitch away 1 blue card and pay that life, you basically cast this for free. So that's where it comes down, and that's where this card becomes very, very nasty. This card has only been out for a couple days on Arena, but it is already starting to shape the Timeless format in many ways. Although it's still a little early, so I have no idea how bad it's going to get, but for now, we might as well take advantage of this card while we can. So to help it out, though, we're going to need a little bit more support to provide to get this game plan off. So we're also going to throw in the other powerful counterspell in this format, which is Mana Drain. For 2 mana, you counter a target spell, and at the beginning of your next main phase, you add an amount of colorless mana equal to the spell's mana value. So with this, the reason why this actually seems even more powerful than the actual Force of Will is because it can just provide for you a lot of ramp. However, our deck doesn't really care too much about that ramp. There are going to be some cases where we could take advantage of that, which of course leads me to our next card that's hoping to lock out our opponent, which is Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void here is a double X artifact that reads, the artifact enters with X charge counters on it. Whenever a player casts a spell with a mana value equal to the number of charge counters on this artifact, you can also counter that spell. So this out, ideally, maybe as early as just turn 2, can put 1 charge counter on it, and then hopefully by that point, we can lock out all of our opponent's 1 mana spells for the rest of the game. This usually in Timeless is pretty nasty because this again can counter Reanimate. This can counter Spell Pierces. This can counter like a bunch of simple 1-drops that our opponent will not be able to play. In some instances, you might be able to get away with possibly 2 charge counters on it if you do manage to get, say, like a Mana Drain, or maybe you get into the mid or late game. Be very careful because this also will counter your stuff. So the way this works is ideally, we should already have our 1-drops out before the Chalice of the Void can hit the field. Be aware of that again, how you want to play it. But hopefully in our deck, once we at least get 1 threat out, a Chalice of the Void, and a handful of counter spells, we should have no problem stopping our opponent from doing anything with their deck. As far as, again, providing, again, more counter, or at least more tempo support and more card draw, we'll throw in Curious Obsession, and we have Ponder here. So for these specifically, the Ponder is meant to set up the Delver's Secrets or the Terrorbander, so that way we can then start putting, again, more stuff into the graveyard. Ponder, again, you can then look at the 3 cards in your library, readjust them however you want to, or just shuffle the whole 3 cards, as long as the rest of your deck, and then draw a card. With this, if your next top 3 cards look a little iffy, you can at least move them away and hopefully draw into something better. Otherwise, if everything looks good on top, rearrange it how you need to, and hopefully you can flip a Delver's Secrets or draw into exactly what you need, like a new counter spell or whatever. With Curious Obsession here, this is an enchantment aura that reads, whenever the enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, you can just draw a card. And at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, you do have to sacrifice the aura. So be aware of that with this, but there's going to be some instances where you actually don't want to attack, mostly just because, again, we have Orcish Bowmaster still in this format. So that's the only reason why maybe there's going to be moments you might want to be better off sacrificing it. Still, with this on a Delver's Secrets, you could definitely put a good clock on your opponent to slow them down and stop them, hopefully. There will be only a couple of spells in this format that cannot be countered, so for that we have Sink in the Stupor. So this is a spell that reads, you just return a spell or a non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand, or if you need it to be, it could just simply be a land in a pinch. I did actually forget to mention that we also are missing actually 1 creature in this deck, which is Brazen Borrower. So technically, though, of course, this is, again, a 2-for-1. With its adventure side, you can then bounce back a non-land permanent for 2 mana, or you can flash it in as a Fairy Rogue, which is a flying 3-1. However, it can only block other creatures with flying. We don't care about that. We mostly just want it as a tempo play, just to provide for us another attacker, or bounce something away we also don't want to have to deal with. And then finally, there is one other counterspell in the deck, which has also been introduced to us, thankfully, from Strixhaven. It's just going to be Daze. This is actually another classic powerful card in older paper formats for Magic, and again, it provides really good value for our deck. Daze here is a 2-mana instant that reads, you can bounce back an island to its owner's hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. And by doing so, you can counter a spell unless its controller pays 1. So for this one's a little bit more of a trickier counterspell to use, but it is technically a free one. You ideally are going to use this, of course, when you tap out, and your opponent assumes that they'll be safe to then put down their spells once they fully tap out. If they fully tap out, then you can use this, bounce back an island, which is honestly not too bad for our deck since we have a lot of free spells, and hopefully you can just kind of throw them off guard from where they're at. So that's otherwise the main part of the deck. As far as the sideboard, we won't be playing any best of 3 for today, but if you do want to play this in best of 3, here's what I'd recommend for you for your sideboard. For Graveyard Hate, we could throw in Tormod's Crypt. It's a free spell, and you just simply sacrifice an instant speed to exile any player's graveyard. We have Annuls here for countering specifically artifacts or enchantments. For bouncing things we have trouble with, we can also add it into the Flood Maw, so if you don't want to deal with, if you don't have that many creatures, or maybe your opponent has a lot of artifacts or enchantments, bring it into the Flood Maw instead, just to then bounce certain things away. Test of Talents here, just a single copy to counter either an instant or sorcery spell, and then you can dig through their entire deck to pull out all the remaining copies. So this hopefully again could be another piece you can use to lock out opponents from doing their deck. Maybe like combo decks or graveyard decks can then completely screw it over. Filter out here again if your opponent goes super wide with a bunch of artifacts or enchantments to bounce them all back toward their owner's hand at instant speed. If we have opponents that are going greedy with their mana bases, bring in Harbinger of the Seas here, turning all non-basic lands into islands, and this can again prevent them from possibly even casting their spells. This again specifically can hose decks like, say, Boros Energy. This is actually really good for that kind of deck. And then finally, if your opponent goes super wide with, say, like that Boros Energy deck or other go wide strategies, use Aetherize here to then bounce back all attacking creatures to its owner's hand. But otherwise, that is the whole deck for you in a nutshell, everyone. So, can the power of Force of Will, the most strongest and most powerful of all counterspells in all of Magic's history, be enough to carry this janky mono blue tempo deck? Well, there's only one way to find out. So let's go ahead and let's take this into the Timeless format, and let's see how well the deck can do. All right, so got our Blue Lock here, and don't worry, as I mentioned earlier, once we get to the halfway point of the stream, we'll play the upgraded version of Blue Lock to show you what else you can bring with this. Well, again, we'll cover that in a little bit. All right, let's get this started here. Let's see how well we can do. First opponent coming in now. All right, we're locking in. Let's get this going. All right, let's do this. Okay. Let's see what we get for our opening hand here. All right, so we have... Okay, so we don't have a 1-drop here. We have a Chalice of the Void, so we can put that down turn 2. But we don't have anything that actually can threaten the board. And our opponent is... On the other hand, our opponent is playing Loris. So that means that everything they have is going to be either a 1 or 2-drop. Maybe we should hold this. I know it's probably going to be a little bit risky, but if we can lock our opponent out from using half of their deck with Loris, that actually could be a huge, huge boon for us. All right, let's see what we get. All right, none of these actually help us out, so... Okay. We will shuffle those. Okay, I've got another Hero's Obsession that we can't use. We'll pass here. So Chalice of the Void. Opponent shot Tameo. All right, so do we get the Tameo now? We're going to have to. So bounce back the island. Counter the Tameo. So that's offline for now. But we got a mana drain, which is not bad either. Okay, we have to find a way to at least stall, at least until we can get that. Okay, they got the Mishra's Bauble. Okay, Bloodstained Mire. Okay, sacrificing Bloodstained Mire. Okay, opponents. They shock themselves. Do they play a 2-drop? Or are they going to wait? Okay, they're getting a peeky peek at what we got, so let's see. Okay, opponents. They draw another card. We draw a card. Okay, we got the Terramander, which is not bad. We need to get that Chalice of the Void now, so... Come on, deck. Does this stick? If we can lock out our opponent now, this actually will be great for us until we can start building up our game plan. The only awkward part about this is we also don't have... Oh, they didn't have the counter spell. All right. Okay, that's fine. Have a swamp. All right, anything else, opponents? Dang, I was hoping we can get them with that. Okay, Orcish Bowmasters. All right. So this is going to be probably one of the biggest challenges is to get around an Orcish Bowmaster, but we'll try. And they're playing also Hydrophonics Architect, which has also been a card I've been hating so far. But we'll see. See if we can try to get around all this. Terramander. Okay. If we draw extra cards, Orcish Bowmasters punishes our game plan. We'll see if we can try to get around it, though. Okay. So while we're doing this, how's everyone's week been so far, everyone? How y'all been doing? Hopefully you're having a good time where you're at. Okay. Fatal Push. No surprise. Opponent swings. With 1 card. Oh. We'll bounce away the token. Does this work? Or does our opponent have any? Okay. We're just slowing them down for now as much as we can. Okay, do we flip here? No, we do not. Okay, Chalice of the Void. That's still not bad. On 1. This means we may not be able to get our Curious Obsession off, but that's okay. Might be more important to lock out their game plan. Unless they have more counterspells. Alright, well, opponent here is still playing Counter spells. We still haven't been able to do any actual real damage, so the only damage we've gotten is they've been able to shock themselves. Okay. 3 cards in hand, opponents. Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, that probably means the mana drain's going to go bye-bye. Curious Obsessions now can't really do anything. Okay. Opponents, what you got? What you going to take away? Okay. Mana drain. No surprise there. Tameo, once again, coming in. Okay, Hydroponics, down to 14. Do we flip now? Okay, we do get the flip, which is great. Alright, so... in all honesty, at this point, card draw would be great. But what I want to do is actually stop them and beat them out here. So, does our opponent block? If they block, that's actually good for us. Oh, they do block. Okay, nice. So at least the Tameo's off the field. Okay, 2 cards each. Who will close this out? Demonic Tutor. Ugh, that's not good. Again, the most powerful of all tutor effects in the entire game. What do they draw, though? That's the Fatal Push. Okay, well, now we're not looking too good here. Down to 12. Terramander. But that may not help us out right now. We're just going to have to wait here. Man, Orcish Bowmasters on its own is very oppressive of a card. Just nothing you can really do about it. Unless if you can get rid of it, it just kind of sticks on the field and hoses any deck that gets kind of greedy. Okay, so opponent here. Brineborn Cutthroat. So this is more of a desperation move. Okay, opponent. Mishra's Bauble. Trying to get a peeky peek. Okay. Down to 11. Still can be anybody's game. Okay, so Luris is going to try to come in. But we got an island. And I guess we'll play Terramander? Opponents. I mean, if they're playing most of blue here, I would think they would have some counter spells. At least from what I would imagine. They already know that a mana drain is also waiting in the wings. So let's see. Opponent. Can you stop us? Opponent's thinking here. Alright. We did manage to get that in. Brainstorm. Okay, we will not counter that. I want to see what they get. Okay, opponents. What do you have in hand here? They have to put 2 cards back, so no matter what, it's not going to be a full hand for them. So we'll see. Can we do this? Ooh, not being able to draw cards off of those Curious Obsessions also kind of really hurt us for a bit there. But that's okay. It is what it is. Weston NV over on Kick. Hello, my fire friend. How you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and thanks again for joining us. Collab? Not at this time. So I'm sadly going to have to decline that for the time being. Okay. Counter the Psychic Frog. Opponents, do you have an answer? So we're completely stripped of all cards here. And they do have their own days. Okay. Well, I mean, that is going to be blue versus blue, everybody. So let's see. If we get another source, if we get another blue island, we can flip the Terramander to make it bigger? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what we do here. Okay, sink into Stupor. Well, that's painful, but we might have to do this. Okay, Terramander. Probably get itself up. Now it's a 5/5. Okay, so that means we put our opponent on a 3-turn clock here. They're at 6. Okay. Can we get around this? Luris coming in. So that means they can reuse now their Mishra's Baubles. Joy. Okay. Opponents. Bobble. No surprise. Sacrifice a bobble. Now they get their cute little combo here to go off. Okay, nothing else? I mean, you got to be swinging, I would assume. Weston, no. Again, I apologize. I don't know if you heard me earlier. No collabing at this time. So I'm going to have to politely decline. Appreciate the offer, though. Okay, opponent does draw a card there. Another Pteramander. Okay, well, that's not horrible. They kind of see what we had, so we're going to have to... We're just going to have to put this down, unfortunately, to chump block for a bit. Not ideal, but it has to be done. Okay, swing in here. Okay, you guys got to keep applying pressure to our opponent here, because they're going to start pulling out more of these Mishra's Baubles and start doing their thing. Okay, they chump block. Okay. Still can't flip this Pteramander. Our opponent also... Okay, there's Bowmasters. So that means they ping away... Dang it. Ping away Pteramander here. Make another creature. Okay, Bajuga Bog. So they exile all of our stuff. Okay, so that goes our whole graveyard. Pteramander can't flip anymore, but that's fine. We already have it as a 5/5, so that's not the problem. Opponent swings. And swings. So this is also the reason why you only wanted one Brazen Borrower, because since it can't block creatures unless they're flying, this is again where our play gets a little clunky. So, dang it, can't really do anything here. Okay, well, not looking too good right now. One's probably going to discard all their cards. Okay, so what they have in hand here? They had a lot of good stuff. Put the Brazen Borrower in. If they have a Fatal Push, so be it. Well, actually, I realized they can't really use the Fatal Push because Brazen Borrower is a 3-drop. Oh, there's the Force of Will. Okay. Alright, so there was their Force of Will. And we are dead. That's a shame. First game, everyone. We lose, but that's okay. I mean, we're at the bottom of Plat 4 anyway, so it's not like it matters too much. But it's okay. It is what it is. Shake it off. Just try again. We still have plenty of time to get back into these games here. So, with that, we'll just get our next game going here. So it's all good. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and shake that loss off. Let's lock it in. We're going to try again for this one here. Let's see if maybe this game will be the one we can get our victory with here. All right, so we got our Delver. This is great. Got the Mana Drain on turn 2. Pteramander will be good for the mid-game. Chalice of the Void, of course. Okay. Not too bad, right? Okay, let's see. Can we make this work? Play the Island. Delver of Secrets. Okay. And pass. Okay, so do we flip? Yes, nice. We had a perfect flip on that one. Okay, so with that, play the Chalice of the Void on 1. Nice. So this should now provide... So if our opponent has any 1-drops now, we can counter them consistently, at least until we have everything else going. Ancient Tomb, okay. Hit that heralds the end. Okay. Opponents. Westhoff, you're going to need to please stop on that. This is also the reason why I don't want to bring back the Kick stream, because Kick tends to have the more annoying people. No offense, but... yeah, it's looking that way a little bit, everyone. Okay, take the 3. We swing. Down to 14. Okay, so... they're still going to try to do their thing here. Okay, they throw away a land. Alright, Ruined Obelisk. Okay, so for that... bounce that away. So that goes bye-bye for now. Another Pteramander that we can't use because we have to keep the Chalice on. Down to 9. But we're not looking too bad right here. I mean, we have kind of everything under control for the time being. Okay, opponents. Okay, they hurt themselves again for 7 there. Okay, we'll mana drain them. So take that, opponents. Do you have an answer? Nope. Nice. They're going to start making Eldrazi spawns because they need to start speeding up their clock. So let's see. Ugh. Of all the times for us to get all the 1-drops, now is not the time. Dang. I kind of wish we had another Chalice. Okay, down to 4. Ooh, we're close. We're close. Okay, Westoff, you're kind of being annoying right now with the collab thing. So, could you please stop? Okay, 3 cards in hand here. Let's see, what are our opponents going to play? Okay, they got the Echoes of Eternity off. But they need life gain in order to actually do anything. So they paid a ton here. Okay, got another island. Doesn't help us out that much. Okay, so we keep swinging here. That's all we can do. Down to 1. So if our opponent... They can't use the Ancient Tomb now because that will hurt them. So what else does our opponent do? They got a Blast Zone, so they can blow away us if they need to in a pinch. Not ideal. Okay. Opponent, 3 cards in hand, down to 1. What else can you do? Kozlik's command, okay. So we lose our creature. We make a ton of Eldrazi spawns. Okay. Let the Herald's the end again. But they ping themselves. Opponent, you you didn't have to do that. Okay. I'll take that. I feel like we should have lost that one, but hey, our opponent hurt themselves, so hey, I'll take a win. I will take that. All right. Well, thanks, opponent. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, again, it counts, so I'm fine with that. I mean, we've also made our own mistakes like that in the past, so you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so we haven't had a chance to really lock out opponents yet, but we're going to hopefully see if this deck can still pull off some good shenanigans here and there. All right, we're going to try to see if we can pull this off again with some more stuff here. Okay, so we have a Sink into Stupor, which technically can work with the Curious Obsession. On the other hand, if we don't draw into our next land, we're going to be a little bit on the bad side here. Ugh. Not the best hand, but we're going to keep this. So the reason wing is Sink into Stupor, Delver, and hopefully it can flip. If it doesn't flip, we can ponder if we need to in a pinch. Okay, so let's do that. Ugh, 3 damage is hurt. It's painful, but it is what it is. Get the Delver off and pass. Okay. Ponder as well. Interesting. Okay. I forget that also Chalice technically can enter with also no counters if we need to. And some decks, actually, you can counter with no counters on it. Okay. Oh, nice. We got the flip. Nice. So from here, Curious Obsession. Nice. Okay, down to 16. So now we got the clock on our opponent here. We'll draw our cards while we can. Another Delver is not what we need. So pay nothing. Put 0 on there. So in case they have Mishra's Baubles or whatever, we can counter those. Okay, opponent's got Ancient Tomb, so they can ping themselves if they need to. Oh, they got the Show and Tell. Alright. Okay, so... Oh dear. We actually don't have an island to keep things under control. Yeah, they got the Emrakul. So let's see. Is there anything we could do here? Or did we complete... Oh, wow. We got no islands. All right. We'll just take the L. Dang it. Wow, they actually got us with the Emrakul flip. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, this is the format where we're going to start dealing with degenerate stuff, so it is going to be here. Okay. In the meantime, we'll just shake it off. Just play again. Okay. Just keep them coming, everyone. Win or lose, we'll just keep our games going here. We'll keep trying as best as we can. Okay, so we got the Terramander, Curious Obsession. Got a Daze. Some Mana Drains. Mana Drains might be okay here. Play the Terramander. We're just trying to get that early game card draw once we get the Curious Obsession going. Okay, Swamp. Fatal Push. Nazis. Okay, so with that, we will bounce back our own island. There we go. Okay. I guess that still works for us. Curious Obsession still. Draw a card. Go to 18 opponent. We'll draw a card off of that. Nice. Okay, so we got our islands, which is good. Okay, opponent. So if they need to blow us away, they can blow us away now. Unless they have something else. Opponent. Maybe? Yes, no? Thoughtseize again. Okay, it's fine. 2 Thoughtseize in a row. We can't stop the other one, but at least we can get rid of some damage on them. Okay. Opponents. Down to 5 cards. Or 4. Okay, island. So we'll have to keep that open for now. Swinging. Down to 14. Okay, they can't pull out a Bowmaster, so we do have a chance to get another card off of this. Okay, we got a Delver. It's not bad. Okay, what else does our opponent have? 3 swamps now. What does our opponent want to summon here? 4 cast. Nothing? Huh. Okay. Well, I guess that means more islands for us, so I guess that helps. We'll put down the Delver now. Let's see. Does our opponent do anything yet? Yes? No? Okay, there's a Consuming Corruption. Okay, so... Okay, we'll have to Mana Drain this now. Opponent, any answers? Okay, nice. So we got that out of the way. We get at least another card draw. Down to 12. Okay. Nice. Draw another card off of that. Okay, Sink into Stupor. Can't do anything with it, but that's okay. Consuming Aberration. X damage, target creature, planeswalker, and they gain X life. Okay. Good card, by the way. Dark Ritual. Ugh. We don't have a Force of Will to protect ourselves here, so whatever they throw out is... Okay, it's shielded. Okay. Voidwalker, okay. No flip there. But we will bounce back Shieldred. Okay. Gotta do what we gotta do here. Ponder. Okay. We need... Okay, none of this helps us out here. Okay. We'll shuffle that. Come on, deck. Okay, Daze will work. That's fine. We can use a Daze. Down to 10. Another card. Another island. Wow, we only have like 16 islands in the deck and we're still flooding out here. How's that possible? Oh, okay. Here we go. This is the reason why you want cards like Daze here. So our opponent thought the coast was clear. But we're going to Daze them right now. I'm sorry, opponents. Too bad. Come on. Take the counterspell. Opponents, you got dazed. They're probably wondering, like, wait, how does that work? It just does. Okay. Come on, opponents. Ooh, they sacrificed their Voidwalker. Okay. Okay, so they got the Sink and the Stupor off of us. Wow. They bounce away then. Okay, so they bounce away that. But at least we still get to counter the Shieldred. So that was a bit of a gamble for our opponent there. Oh, jeez, we're not getting any of our stuff here. Come on, deck. Why are we flooding out with 16 lands? You gotta be kidding me on that. Alright, well, still trying to play the Terramander. Put him down to 9. Literally, we have nothing but islands in hand. Wow. Where is our counter spells at? Ooh. Sometimes you get all the luck. Okay, Meat Hook Massacre. I mean, so that hurts Delver here. But we can flip the Terramander, so... Terramander survives. They go to 10. Wow. What is this? Look at this. Come on. Ugh. All islands. Again, as a reminder, we have 16 basic islands in this deck. 16. And we have now, of that, 9 of them. So that means we have more than half of our mana base in our hand. Sometimes this game, sometimes I wonder. Down to 5. Opponent does, however, need to beat us this turn. If they do not have removal in any way, shape, or form, we can win next turn. Does our opponent have anything? Anything at all? Oh, my kingdom right now for a counterspell. Anything would be nice. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Ooh, I honestly thought, like, okay, if they have anything in hand, we are going to be dead here. But we managed to avoid that. Woo! That was way, way too close. But we took it. I'll take that win. That's a good win. Clunky, but we got there. Even though our deck was betraying us the whole time. Alright. So far, so good. Okay. So, moving on from here. So, as we get ready for our next opponent here, my question I'll ask everyone is, so whether you're watching live or on the replay, what color, as I mentioned earlier, did get the most upgrades from this, from Strixhaven? Is it, and I think my question for that is, why is it blue? Because honestly, blue got Force of Will. I mean, I don't know what else to say, except even if you don't play Timeless, that is a massive upgrade to the blue decks. Chris Antogo, literally and figuratively flooded. Yep, we were. But thanks again for joining us today. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Appreciate you being here, by the way. You hate this game? Yeah, I can hate it too at times. And yet, here I am still playing it on stream. Because I got nothing better to do with my life. Well, in all seriousness, though, I still enjoy the game. Okay, so we got Chalice down. So if our opponent has any free stuff, they get countered, at least for the time being. Okay, Elegant Parlor. Oh, man. Oh, I wish we had the Heartbreaker of the Season in the main deck. Okay, opponents. Arid Mesa. Alright. Sacking it. Alright, they're trying to fix their mana base. Rawl, Monsoon Mage. Okay, so for that, we got a Force of Will. Oh. Okay. Our opponent already quits? I mean, yay? Okay, well, win's a win. Maybe they didn't want to deal with our blue shenanigans. It's all good. No problem there. No big deal. Alright, so getting at least our dailies done. If nothing else, we can get our dailies done. Always make sure to finish your dailies, kids. Always make sure to finish them. 4 wins, bare minimum, gets you, I think, 450 gold. Plus any of the dailies you do to complete, what is it, the 500 there? So that's 950 gold. So if you get like 5 to 6 wins, you get 1,000 gold a day, which is like what? 1 pack of cards? At least in the game. That's not too bad, right? Okay, so let's see here. Oh, wow. We got the Force of Will hand here, and we got the Brazen Borrower, so I'll keep this. Maybe we'll just frustrate our opponent where they can get completely blown away before we can do anything. Okay, we're hoping. Oh, okay, they're mulliganing. That's good. If they're a combo deck, they're going to get hosed here so hard. Okay, so, all right. Opponent mulliganed all the way down to 5 cards. All right. Okay, 0. Okay, there we go. Chalice of the Void. Okay. Opponent plays an island. We have 3 Force of Wills. I don't know what they could possibly be trying to play right now to mess with us, but we can counter whatever they got. Okay, so there you go. Chromox. Sorry, opponent. Chalice of the Void counters that. Ooh, Cosign of Memory. Okay, well, here comes the Counterspell Wars, so this is kind of what, if you play older formats, you know how this works. Okay, Cosign of Memory. We'll pitch away 1 Force of Will. All right. Nice. So wait, we counter theirs. And our opponent already scoops up. All right. Well, there you go, everyone. That's the reason why you want to play Force of Will. Free spells, and they try to think they can get a little sneaky on us, but we out-countered their spells. All right. Nice. But at least you got to see a snippet there of why Chalice of the Void is a very, very powerful card in this format. There's a lot of free shenanigans people try to throw out there, and even that without any counters on it can lock out a lot of opponents' game plans. So there you go. There you go. I'll take it. Letterin, Lamau, indeed. And how you doing today, my fire friend? Thanks again for joining us today. Hopefully we're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Chrisan, I want to give Timeless a try, but the amount of Force of Will and days I have to see running around, I'm going to stay in my little Brawl world. I mean, that's fair. To be honest, again, this is also the reason why I like to do these streams. I will spend all my resources so you don't have to. I mean, don't ask me how I got all my Force of Wills. That was a lot of resources spent to get the Force of Will set. But, I mean, for streaming purposes, I mean, hey, that comes with the territory of being a content creator. Sometimes you have to spend a little bit here. Well, you really don't want to, just to make sure you can get your content up and running. But it is what it is. I did craft those 2 day 1 Tamios, though. Really? Okay. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Though, to be honest, though, I will say personally, I don't have any Tamios. I ran out of wild cards. So I will talk about this probably when we get to the upgraded portion. Okay, do we care about authority of the consoles? Okay, clock's ticking. We'll Force of Will that now. That means we'll throw away Sigurd the Stupor. So we'll get that off the field. We don't want our opponent locking us out. So we might as well just do our thing now. Okay, Delver Secrets, nice. But yeah, day 1 when we started playing Strixhaven, I already knew what was going to happen. People are going to be building decks with Daze and Force of Will. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of getting my stuff countered, so you know what? We're going to go to the dark side. We're going to make a deck that's focused on them. Oh, opponents, I'm sorry. You're going to get free counterspelled here for days. Get it? Days? Thank you. Okay. Ooh, get the flip here. Nice. Okay, put that down. And so, that's called Apparition. So for now, we don't have anything else, so we might as well ponder. Okay. Well... We'll do it that way. Draw the card. So just in case if they have anything, play it for nothing. So if our opponent has any kinds of artifacts, we can counter them. Chrisan, I usually do 1,000 a day minimum. Some days when I'm ladder climbing, I complete my full 15 wins. Okay. Ooh, our opponent is, what, a cat deck? That's cute. A cat deck and Timeless? I'll take it. Alright. Okay, down to 14. We'll wait it out. So with the mana drain, maybe we can get around their stuff here? Okay, Leon and Vanguard. Alright, so... Do we want that countered for now? Okay. I think we need to get rid of the Rabo. Okay, so they gain some life, all that. Do they swing? Okay, they do. So, flip hits Drowner. Locking out the Vanguard. We block to get rid of the Rabo. Okay, down to 17. Alright. We'll take that for now. Terramander. Down to 12. So at least Leonin can't swing for a bit, so they can't do any extra damage. All right, it was just the 1 wild card each. Oh, okay. So you had only 1 from that. Okay. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, at least you have a Tameo. I didn't get any Tameos when I was cracking Modern Horizons 3. But man, this recent set right here, because of the Mystical Archives, I'm really happy we got a lot of cards. But man, because of the Mystical Archives, it cost me pretty much all of my wild cards, which was unfortunate. All right, mana drain that. Not sure why our opponent did that, but okay. Did they swing? Nope. Okay, how much is it going to cost now? Okay, down to 3. Okay, so we can flip this now. So that's also the reason why you want mana drain, is now we can flip the Terramander. All right, we got a clock on our opponents. We are close. Okay, King of the Pride. Ooh. That's a good amount of damage on us there. I mean, that is nasty, but that won't matter now because we get our easy win here. Flying high and above their cats, and we get the win there. No muss, no fuss. All right, all right. Nice. All right, locking them out. We're locking them out. Okay. Got another pack from that. That's nice. Look at those 3 packs. Ooh, we got a mythic off of that? Famished World Sire. Okay, I remember this card. We haven't had a chance to play with this, but there is a way you can get this into the field for a much cheaper cost. I think, what is it, Meek Attack? I've seen Meek Attacks use this in Standard, where they sneak this in for, like, free. Maybe we'll try to build a deck around that at some point. We do want to do a Meek Attack at some point, but we'll talk about that again later on. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's keep the good times rolling. Let's see if we can get maybe like 1 or 2 more games with our blue lock in budget form. We've actually been doing much better now. So beyond that, we'll of course upgrade the deck and make it much more stronger in just a little bit. All right, so with that, I wonder if this person actually started playing Timeless with cats. I mean, hey, if they want to play cats and Timeless, more power to them. You have my respect for that because, trust me, I would love to make budget creature decks for Timeless, but they're just not fast enough. I mean, I tried with a Goblin deck, and we got blown away so hard. So I was like, maybe we should hold off on that for a little bit. But until then, all right, so we got the Terramander, got a Brineborn, Force of Will. So we have ways of pitching things for a little bit. But our opponent also did Mulligan too, so maybe that's going to be in our favor. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Opponents. What are you going to be playing? What is our opponent playing? All right, they got a Swamp. The Thoughtseize. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. So, well, I guess we'll Force of Will that now. We will toss out the Ponder. Take 1, but we counter. We don't want them to see what we're trying to do here, so we'll wait for a bit. Terramander. 1 little Terramander. Still a ways away before he can become a big one. Just getting that early game damage. Not sure what our opponent was trying to accomplish here, but... Okay, Bajuka Bog. Okay, well... that kind of slows down our plan just a little bit, but not by much. Brineborn, alright. I guess we're just going on the aggro plan here. Alright, Delver. Terramander. You know what, we're just going to go all aggro at this point. Down to 16. We will Ponder. Okay, so what do we get here? I think we'll do it this way. Decline. Draw the Flood Pit Drowner. Alright. Okay, so Force of Will is coming up, so that should provide us the protection we need. Ooh, okay, Buried Alive. What did they pull out? Oh, there's the Valgavoth. Okay, and they also got... Reveal. So we reveal to our opponent a Force of Will. Not ideal, but at this point we just need to go on the offensive before it's too late. Down to 9 opponents. If they try to use the reanimation spell, Force of Will is ready, waiting in the wings. Okay, opponent, what will you do? If they have more than 1 reanimation spell, though, I mean, that will hurt. But if they only have 1, then we have a shot here. Okay, so they do have the death. So with that, an opponent knew what was going to happen there. We were going to Force of Will that, and we would have gotten the win there easily. Okay. All right, all right. We'll take it. Not too bad. Again, not flashy wins there, but we already kind of put immediately on our opponent's brain there that, hey, no matter what they do, they're going to get countered anyway, so I'll take those wins. Okay, so let's get 1 more in mono blue here, and then we will then take a look at what we can do to upgrade this deck, at least from what I think should be decent upgrades for the deck. I don't know if anybody's put together already a more standard, I don't know, I shouldn't say a standard, but a more streamlined version of this using Daces and Force of Wills. But we will try on our end when the time comes. Alright, so we're on the play again, which is good. Play the Island. Chalice of the Void for free. So if they're an Artifact Affinity deck, we can hose them easily here. I have the Sink of the Stupor ready to go too. Catacombs. That's fine. Okay. Okay, opponent's shocking themselves block here. Oh, opponents, your Chalice of the Void will counter your Chrome Mox. Okay. You don't get it, opponent. I'm sorry. Dark Ritual, okay. Let's see. We will... Actually, do I want to... You know what? I'll let that go for now. I want to see what they play. Barrogoyf. Okay, well... We will bounce that back. And that is counter 2. Locking them out up, everybody. Nice. Opponent? And our opponent has rage quitted there. Oh, see? Now we're starting to lock out our opponents. Hey, we ranked up too. Nice. Very nice. Okay. But now you can see, everyone, the power of locking your opponent out with our shenanigans here. Even though our counter spells technically we're playing them for free, remember that Chalice of the Void is countering based upon the mana value of the card. So Force of Will is technically a 5 mana value spell, even though we're playing it for free. So this is why Chalice of the Void is really, really gnarly with our game plan. That in Daze gets around the Chalice of the Void a lot. But okay, let's actually now jump to the upgraded version. So that was the blue lock on the, and I'm going to quote unquote myself here, that was the budget version. Yes, I'm aware of Force of Wills and all the other stuff in there is very expensive to play with, but in Arena, it's only going to cost you like 14 rares and mythics, which at least in Timeless is not too expensive, am I right? But if you're a person that wants to play at a much more higher power level, and you're wondering, what if we can upgrade the deck? I have a bunch of extra rares and mythics in Infernoman, so hey, let's see if we can take this to the next level. So that's what you're going to see here now for the remainder of the stream. So here, we're going to be playing with a much more higher power level here. So with this, we actually don't need the Chalice of the Void all the time, but this can help us out here. Keep in mind, however, with this and say like a Mishra's Bauble, this is also going to be a little bit clunky at times. But if you don't need the Mishra's Bauble, we can throw in a bunch of other things here. So this is kind of like what I'm going to show you right now is what I would believe would be the best way to play certain things here. So with the upgraded version of the deck, besides the Mishra's Baubles here, we also are going to use Brainstorms. So this can help us, again, just dig 3 cards around and then put things away and put them in any order. We didn't use these earlier because although technically they are now valid in a budget deck, because Brainstorms can now be created for only commons, we now actually have fetch lands. So the fetch lands are the reason why you'll now want Brainstorm in the actual main deck. Cut down to 3 Ponders instead to make room for a single copy of Cling to Dust. So this is going to be, again, locking out graveyard decks from trying to pull out maybe their singular card they need from the graveyard. The other thing we're going to have, now that I realize that maybe we might keep the Chalice of Void, but we're probably going to move out the Mishra's Baubles. But we do have some other cards we can use in here that I'll talk about in a second. So since we're splashing into black now we can get really, really nasty, and we have much more stronger options against decks that are going to punish different ways of gameplay. The whole idea is, again, we want to lock out opponents from being able to do their game plan. So by drawing cards, we're going to have to throw in, of course, the one and only Orcish Bowmaster. So now we get to be the dirty Orcish Bowmaster deck. So, of course, this punishes players that are trying to then draw a bunch of cards. So that's the reason why we want that. Keep the Daze, keep the mana drains. We'll now throw in another copy of Brazen Borrower here, so this again just helps us with more bounce effects. Keep the Sink in the Stupor, but now that we're in black, we can also use another free spell that we want to use. So this is going to be Snuff Out here. If we control a swamp, we can then pay 4 life rather than pay the 4 mana for the removal spell. You can destroy a non-black creature, and it can't be regenerated. I mean, regenerate is also like an old school reference, so if you're old like me, you know what they mean by this kind of effect. That was such a big deal back in the day. But otherwise, Snuff Out here, great as a free spell for us. I forgot to mention also, now we have Fatal Pushes of our own, so we have a little bit of spot removal for certain decks out there. And now that we're going to upgrade the mana base here, so we're going to be using 2 islands, a singular swamp, a creeping tar pit. Mostly this is that way we have an unblockable land. We have Undercity Sewers, Watery Graves, and we'll use Polluted Deltas to then fetch out our Shocks and our Surveil lands. Remember that, again, Daze does work with these because they are islands, so that's why we want them. Also, the reason why we want a singular swamp is in case if you bring in a card like Harbinger of the Seas, you also don't want to lock yourself out from playing Magic. So be aware of that if you actually want to bring these in. Now that I think about it, I think we're going to probably move out to the Mishra's Baubles because I also don't want to screw ourselves over with Chalice of the Void. And we'll bring in, of course, Grafdigger's Cage. So we'll throw in these instead. I think we'll move out maybe 1 Brainstorm and we'll put in a full set of Grafdigger's Cage. So for these will make sure that, again, this prevents Players preventing from casting spells from graveyards or libraries, and also creatures in graveyards or libraries cannot enter the battlefield. So this should hose a lot of graveyard decks out there. So that's the reason why we want that. We want it as a 1-drop as opposed to Torbot script, because in case we do Chalice of the Void on 0, we also, again, don't want to counter ourselves. So that's an FYI for that. And then for the sideboard here, so I just threw in there the Mishra's Baubles and the Brainstorm, but we also are going to have to throw in now that we're in black, we have Thoughtseize. So again, we can just make them discard certain things, keep the filter out. We'll throw in more counterspell shenanigans if you want to with Force and Negation. So this can be kind of like a backup to everything else if you want it to be. As I mentioned earlier, we have Harbinger of the Sea still, so we'll keep those in there. And a single copy of Dismember to make something that's indestructible, a -5/-5. So that'll be rounding out our package there. And that is at least my version of a blue lock deck. Or maybe it might actually be now Dimir lock. I don't know. It sounds pretty nasty no matter how you look at it. But this is going to be now the upgraded version of the blue lock deck, everyone. So is this upgraded version going to be better than what we just played? Or are we going to accidentally mess ourselves up here? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see how well this version can do now. Okay, so as we're loading up our next opponent here, again, if you do like any of the content we do, if you like any of our budget gameplay, deck tech strategies, or any of our booster pack openings, show some love and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're watching the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck techs, and so much more. Okay, so for now, alright, Reliquary Tower, okay, that's cute. Play the Polluted Delta. So, thanks to now our fetch lands, we should be able to thin out our deck a lot easier. It looks like they're playing Eldrazi. Okay. So, let's see. Throne of the God Pharaoh. Okay, we will force a will that. Throw away the Ponder. Can't have our opponent messing with our life total for now. We will do that on our own. Okay, so let's get out an Undercity Sewers to Surveil. So at least we can filter our next draw. Okay, we'll keep the Force of Will on top. Alright, pass here. So, if our opponent doesn't play anything that hurts us here, we can also Orcish Bowmasters. Where's his Incubator? Okay. Alright, so, once again, Force of Will. So, gotta do it. Counter that as well. I'm sorry, opponent. Orcish Bowmaster coming in now. Now we got a clock on our opponent. Polluted Delta again. So we'll play that. Down to 17. So it looks like they're just trying to get off a colorless Eldrazi deck. Okay, they got the 2 life back. That's annoying. Not a huge deal for us. That's okay. Fusion Archive. All right. Hit ourselves a Polluted Delta. Undercity Sewers. Okay, got the Daze. Hedron Archive. Bounce that away. I'm sorry, opponents. We can't have you do your thing. We got to keep locking him out of the strategy. Down to 17. Okay. So far, trying to maintain control of this game. We've been able to slow them down a lot. Okay. Anything else, opponents? Is this enough? Okay, if the Herald's the end. Dang it. Okay, so we have to let that go. But at least we have a Brazen Borrower to provide more support in the air. Okay, so for now, Brazen Borrower now has to get the damage in. Play the island there. Pass. Okay, so all we have now is a Daze to protect us, which is, again, not the best. But that mightn't be all we do need. So that's 1, 2. Okay. We will counter that. Wait, hold on. We'll let that resolve first. Okay. Return that. Phew. Okay. We managed to at least get that off the field. Okay. So our opponent did blow away more than half of our deck, and now we're kind of like in a bad spot here. Okay. Orcish Bowmaster, number 2. Okay. Alright, well, if that was the big play, hopefully that should now be enough to at least survive. But if they have another Ulamog, then we're dead. Okay. Okay, thank goodness. Okay, so they're out of stuff here. Urza's Cave. They sack that. What did they get? Creature land? Okay. Cavern Souls, so that prevents their countering. But we don't care about that anymore. So from here, It's just going to be now aggro all the way. Okay, opponents. Alright, so with that, Orcish Bowmasters. Off our token, they go to 7. Okay, so if they start drawing cards, we can now bounce back quickly here. So those Hedron Archives are going to get punished if they... Ooh, they do it. Alright, that's 2 cards. We get big pings here. Nice. Down to 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay. Man, Orcish Bowmaster is such an oppressive card. Okay, opponent's got 2 cards in hand. Did they get anything? Do they have anything to blow us away? If not, we can win. Ooh, okay, so they make some spawns. Okay. But the Brazen Borrower could fly over that easily, so that should mean we get the win here. Okay, so with that... Alright. Swing here, big. Does our opponent... And they have nothing. They are all down, everyone. We got our victory here. Nice. Hey, we're ranking up. Looking good, looking good. All right, so far, upgraded version looked pretty nice there. Let's see if we can keep the good times rolling. Okay. Well, that was actually a pretty good outing for the deck. We managed to keep away a lot of their stuff. We locked out their ability to then get their big Eldrazi out. So, feeling pretty good about that one. Okay, so let's see here. Alright, we got the several days, got an Orcish Bowmaster and a Snuff Out. The only downside I would say to a deck like this is, and again, this is mostly just, I would say, part of what happens in a higher powered format. You will definitely be using your life as a resource constantly in a format like this. So sometimes, small pingers like this can mean the big difference between a winning and losing. Get the sewer in, so we want to be able to surveil here. Okay, Water Grave, we'll keep that. That's good. Okay, so let's get down the Water Grave. So, lots of damage to our face, but sometimes that might be all we need. Okay, opponents. Pass here. Got the Bloodstained Mire. Okay. Opponent, what you got? What do you got, opponent? Okay, Undercity Sewers as well. Alright, that's fine. And pass here. Okay, opponents. Still... Okay, they got the Thoughtseize, so don't want to deal with that, so... We'll mana drain them. Okay, Polluted Delta, they go to 18. Do they have another counterspell, though? Opponents? What do they got? Thinking. Okay, Rakkus Theater. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so they're playing a Grixis deck. Okay, Mana Drain did manage to go off, so that's good. Okay. I guess we'll just play the Orcish Bowmaster now. I just will get it out. And we'll play... Ugh. This is a painful deck. I know you don't have to always play with everything shocking out, but we need to make sure we can also stay pace with our opponents. They shock themselves too. Okay. Alright, well... We don't have a way of stopping this, so we're just going to have to take it. So the Thoughtseize does manage to get rid of something in hand. Either the Sinking Stupor, I'm guessing. Well, I mean, anything right here probably would be good for them to get out of the way. Snuff Out. Daze. Chrysan, you're going to make me try Timeless? I mean, you can try it on a budget. I mean, that's the whole reason why we do these live streams, Chrysan, is to mostly just see if we can put together something as cheap as we can in these formats. I know, obviously, paying 16 rares and mythics on the cheapest for a deck like this doesn't sound cheap. But honestly, like, again, I'm trying to work with what I can. I obviously know that trying to make a budget deck in a powerful format like this is not always the best, but it can be done. Okay, so opponents, did manage to get some stuff off here, so 3 damage there. Nice, I'll take it. Ooh, okay, we got another mana drain. That's good. Now we got a clock on our opponent here. We'll keep the Sink of the Stupor open just in case we need to bounce something. So our opponent looks like they're going to try to get the Oculus off. That's what they want to do. Okay, they got the Unearth. So from there, mana drain now. Opponents, do you have a counterspell? No, they don't. Okay, nice. Do they have another one, though? Opponents? Okay. Persist. Okay, so for there, so here's how we're going to do this. Go full control for a second here. We can snuff them out immediately. So, again, painful format, by the way. But we got it out of the way. Okay, nice. That's out of the way. Opponent still has 2 cards in hand, though. But they're down to 7. We're at 10. Ooh, man. These formats, they take a toll on your life. But that's, again, that's par for the course for decks like this. Opponent has technically 1 mana open. So what else you got, opponent? Anything else? Or do we get a two-turn clock here? So opponent is a Grixis Reanimator deck with that Port Oculus. That's a cute deck, by the way. I don't know if it's the most efficient version of the Oculus plan, but it is a good one. Although, thankfully, that Faithless Looting did give us a major swing in our favor. Whew, okay. Opponent here. Contemplating life, which I don't blame them. Okay, so we got at least a little bit of mana there. Let's see. Let me brainstorm for a second here. Literally brainstorming. Okay, we will put back... Oh, opponents! And they have had enough. Okay, I'll take it. A win's a win, so we're moving up. And here I thought we weren't going to actually rank up today. We're looking good. Deck is looking a lot better now. We had some clunky early games, but hey, we're now getting our win streak going here. Okay, let's keep the good times rolling. Let's keep them going. I probably should also get a little bit of water. I'm feeling a little parched over here, so give me a second, everybody. Much better. Okay, I feel better. Okay, so let's see. We have 2 lands here, 2 modal lands. We have the mana drain. The days won't work out, though, so, This is a tricky one here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to mulligan. I mean, we can get our plan off, so that's what you always have to remember is anytime you look at a deck like this, and you're probably wondering, like, do I keep it? The number one question you ask yourself is, can you actually play the first couple turns? If you can, then you probably should mulligan. So we can, but it's also going to be very painful for us. Also, we can't use the days, but we can use the mana drain. So, I don't know. Should I keep this one or should I mulligan? And mulliganing in this format also feels really, really harsh. Okay, artifacts? Interesting. So for now, Undercity Sewers. We'll Surveil. Okay, keep the Delver on top. Play the Chalice of the Void for free. So from here, we pass. Okay, for our opponent, they have any... If they're playing artifacts, then maybe this might have been the best play. Oh, they strip mine us. All right. Okay, opponent's going to play that plan. Reinforce Ronin. Okay. Snuff out. Can't really do anything with it yet, but looks like they're going to try to start getting some stuff off here. Pay that. Delver Secrets. Okay. We are looking pretty harsh right here with our plan. Legion Extruder. Jeez. Alright. Wow. They have a very janky artifact plan, and it somehow is working. Don't let me shocked. Ugh. Don't want to do it this way, but we don't have a choice. Okay. Opponents? Mishra's Bauble. Okay, well, at least that gets countered. So, opponent cannot use the Bauble. Nice. So, at least we lock out the free spells. Okay. Opponents? Anything else? Got the Ronin. Okay. Is that it? Caveron Harrier gets bounced. Gotta slow them down. Although we're also not looking... We're not looking too hot here. Their jank plan is actually working, shockingly. And our deck also is not running that much spot removal. If we had our fatal pushes, it would be great. Okay, they bounce that back. Okay, ponder. Alright, well... Okay, well, the Orcish Bowmaster on top... Wait, hold on. Oof, okay. Decline. Shuffle. Put the swamp down. Yeah, I don't think... We can't win this one. We could try, but with the snuff out that normally would be good for us is not good against these little decks that go underneath us. So... Opponent? Yeah, okay. They bolt. We can daze if we want to. Okay, so literally we survive one turn here and we're dead. No matter what we do. Okay. Ronin, okay. Okay, do they make the token? They can make the token, right? They gotta make the token. That's pretty much an easy win. Okay, yeah. Alright, out of my own pettiness, I'm just gonna blow up one creature. I mean, we would have lost no matter what there, so it is what it is. But that's okay. We've been on a good win streak for a little bit there, so sooner or later we're gonna probably run into something that was gonna jank us out, and they did. Their cute little deck actually got us, so I ain't gonna hate on that. Good to you, opponent, for putting together some kind of clunkiness that I wasn't even expecting. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. What will we get next? Hoping we get a solid matchup here. So, let's see. Okay, so we got the Grafdigger's Cage here, so if they're a graveyard deck, we can lock them out now. Got the Daze, Water Grave, Polluted Delta, okay. So far, this looks decent. We'll try. Watery Grave. Grafdigger's Cage. So if they're a graveyard deck, we lock them out now. Oh, I kind of wish we also had the Chalice of the Void. That would be hilarious against certain graveyard decks out there. Okay. Opponents. Thinking it through. Okay. Concealed Courtyard. Is there a Thoughtseize coming? Maybe. Thoughtseize coming. Alright. No surprise there. We will daze that. We bounce back our own Water Grave again. It's painful. But we got to keep our cards. Okay. Opponents. Anything else? Chromox. Okay. Yeah, this is the reason why I wish we had that Chalice. So they get to ramp somewhat. Oh, they put back a Reanimate. Interesting. Okay, well, that's the choice, opponents. Now they got the Grief too. Okay, well, that means there goes our hand. So our opponent's now trying to play miserable Grief shenanigans. Do they reanimate it? If they reanimate it, then we're like dead. Because there's not going to be much of a way to recover from this devastating of a game plan here. Oh, if we only had that Chalice of the Void on turn 1, that would have saved us a lot. Tapped. Okay. Are they going to reanimate it? Demonic Tutor. Okay. So that means they get the reanimation back, don't they? Okay, opponents. I see your plan. It's a really nasty plan, by the way. I know at some point we do want to... I want to put together something in mono black with Demonic Tutors, so if you guys have an idea of how we can do that, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I forgot to mention, and I'll try to see if I can put out the poll. Unfortunately, what is it? YouTube limits you to only 4 options in their polls. And I was like, wait, but we need to do all 5 schools. So we'll see if I make that work. Okay, opponent has Thoughtseize this completely here. Okay. Not sure what else they have in hand, but let's get a sewer out. I need to see what we can filter to get what we need. Okay, snuff out. I guess we'll keep that just in case. For the next polluted delta and pass. Our opponent does know we have an Orcish Bowmasters waiting in the wings. Okay, Mana Confluence. Okay. Do they have any other card? The Grafdigger's Cage does help us out quite a bit here. Because I realize now they can't reanimate anything so long as the cage is out. So at least we got one lock on our opponent. Nope. Sorry, opponent. I don't know why you did that, though, but I will take it, so. Alright. Now we can go on the offense. Okay, sack that. Nice. So surveil. Okay, we don't need another Grafdigger's Cage, but we could put one up there in case we wanted to. But we'll just keep the one for now. Okay, got a Ponder. That's cute. Let's ponder while we can. We don't need any more cages, though, by the way. We'll just shuffle that, draw another card. Okay, take a Brainstorm. That's cute. Okay, so we can have now something to pitch with a Force of Will if we need to in a pinch. Okay, Mana Drain. Okay, so now, for sure, we should be able to lock out our opponent from playing. Whatever they play now, we have the Mana Drains, we have the Force of Wills, we have everything we need. Oh, and we also got a Daze. We got our trifecta of stuff here. So just ping away at our opponents. Chip it away. Little chips here and there. Down to 11 opponents. Vampiric Tutor. Okay. I don't know what they're going to put on top, but we're prepared for them. We're ready. Doesn't matter what you got, opponents. You don't have a way of stopping the counter spells, so this should be a nice one. Okay. What is our opponent going to grab? They put themselves down to 9, though. Crow Mox? Okay. Sure. It doesn't really do anything, so we don't care. And then I don't know what that does, but we can't take a chance with it, so we'll counterspell that now. Thank you, opponents. Okay. Okay, got the Ponder. And then now we have Brainstorm. Okay, nice. Draw 3 cards. We'll put back. And there we go. Okay, our opponent has had enough, and we will take that win. All right. Nice. Keeping it going, everyone. Keeping it going. All right. Deck feels now really good. Getting our wins in where we can. And we'll try to keep our wins going. So far, we've been doing pretty decent. I honestly didn't think that Grafdigger's Cage was going to help us out there, but man, I was so glad I kept that hand. Okay, so speaking of... Ooh. This doesn't look like we're going to be able to get off what we can. We can counterspell a couple times, but man, we're going to take a lot of damage with this hand. Mulligan once. Okay. We're going to have to keep this hand. So for this one here... I think our best solution is... Okay, so we'll take away one Grafdigger's Cage. The Undercity Sewers at least can help us cast off the Bowmasters. So that means turn 1, sink into Stupor, Grafdigger's Cage. Then turn 2, well, we also can't play the Undercity Sewers for a bit. Okay, still clunky opening hand here, but we're going to have to keep it. Okay, put back the cage. So just in case, if they have any shenanigans... Might as well put the cage down now. We can stall for a little bit. Okay, Windswept Teeth, that's fine. So our opponent has any... Okay, green. We haven't seen a green deck for a bit, so... Is it elves? Are we looking at an elves deck? Huh. Not sure. I don't know if my deck is prepared for... Okay. Rule? Utopia Sprawl again. Okay, that's cute. Opponent is trying to ramp here. That's definitely what we know for sure. Okay, Ragavan. Opponent? Oh, you think you're sneaky? Well, we're just as sneaky. Opponent, I'm about to ruin this man's day. Oh, opponent, you have no idea what's coming right now. Let's get out our Watery Grave. Yes, we will take the damage, so painful, but this is the reason why Orcish Bowmasters has negated Ragavan. Okay. So, too bad, opponents. Too bad. Oh, nice. We got a Chalice of the Void, too. Okay. So from here, put the Undercity Sewers down. Okay. We don't need any more land, so I think we're good now. And then, do we want Chalice on one? Or do we want it on... Okay, you know what? We'll play it for free, just in case they have any free spells. Okay, we'll go from here. Ping our opponent. Down to 15. Okay. So at least if they have any free stuff, they can't do it for a bit. Ice Soul Explorer, okay. So our opponent looks like they're going to try to start doing shenanigans with strip mines. Okay, so we're going to have to do this now. Guess we'll just get a second Orcish Bowmaster. Ping away. Okay. We will get strip mined here twice, it looks like. Okay. And they got another strip mine. Okay, so they're basically Ponza. For those that don't know, Ponza is an old school strategy that uses land destruction. But it is working, unfortunately. Okay. Still, we're going to try to find a way around this. Okay, Undercity Sewers. If this can set up for us... Okay, we don't need another Delver. We need to flip a Delver. No attacks. But if our opponent tries to draw cards, at least we can hold them off for a bit. So our opponent is trying their own kind of pseudo-lock with strip mines. If our deck was able to fit it, I would like to lock out our opponent with strip mines, but with our Dimir plan, we really just need counter spells. That's really all we need. Okay, opponent is dumping more cards. Oh, we got the Fury. Whew, boy. Whew. So, oh jeez. We lose our Bowmasters and the Delver. Aw, man. Opponents. Okay. They're still doing their thing. So I think our opponent on this end has us cooked. Okay. They swing. Not much else we can really do here. All their stuff is more higher end, so the Chalice of the Void here doesn't really help us out here. We're at 12. The only thing that helps us out here will be... Okay. Yeah. We're just going to get strip mined to death here, so I'll just take my L now. I'll take it now. Dang. It's okay, though, everyone. It's okay. It happens to even the best of us. Or at least in my case, the worst of us. It's okay, though. No big deal. We're still doing pretty good here. Keep the good times rolling for a little bit longer. Although I will say right now, our live stream today might be cut a little bit short. Only just because, again, as much as I enjoy streaming with all y'all, as always, I have, of course, a big boy obligation to do, i.e. I have an actual job outside of this. Still, though, I still appreciate you all being here for me today. So if you do want to help me out a little bit more, no obligation, of course. We do have, of course, that are going to be in the details of the stream once we're done, whether you're watching across Instagram, X, Twitch, or YouTube. We do have, of course, a Patreon and a members-only playlist on YouTube, which, again, with a little bit of money every month, can help us, again, keep this channel going, and that can provide for you exclusive videos that obviously are not going to be posted for regular viewers. So if you want to be part of that, that, of course, will be located in the details below, or for free, you can also just simply join our Discord. Again, no matter what, as long as you are here for me, your support will help us keep going, everyone. So thank you again to however you do support the channel. And of course, all links, one more time, will be located in the details below once the stream is over. All right, so... Okay, so we got 2 lock pieces already, and we got the Force of Will and the Mana Drain and the Snuff Out. So we're going to be controlling our opponent for days here. Ooh, Library of Alexandria. Okay. So, interestingly enough, they have that. Play the Chalice of the Void first. We'll then play Grafdigger's Cage second. Okay. 2 lock pieces to make sure our opponent can't do any graveyard shenanigans or free spell shenanigans with artifacts. But this is also another very powerful card. Library of Alexandria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can only draw Exactly, 7 cards in hand. Interesting. Okay, so for now, play the Watery Grave. We don't have any creatures, but we're going to see if we can just try to prevent them from, I don't know what they're doing. All I just know is this is a very powerful card. We will build around it some way, somehow in the future. The only reason why we can't do it now is we're out of wild cards, and these are mythics, so I want them, but too expensive right now. Okay, so they also have a bounce spell. Again, I don't know what they're doing. I really wish we had our Orcish Bowmaster in hand. That actually would be really good against the Library of Alexandria. Okay, I see what they're doing here. Okay, so for that, we'll just mana drain them now. Opponents? Phew, okay. That threat's off. Okay, we can ponder now. So first off, Undercity Sewers. Well, we have the mana floating on the stack. Maybe this might be helpful. Throw that in the yard. Let's ponder. Come on, deck. Give me something good. Give me something good. I guess we'll put that on top. Okay. Actually, no, we'll keep it like that. Draw the card. Play the Delver. We won't be able to flip them yet, but it might be better than nothing. Okay. Opponents. They do have the Force of Will. Okay. Well, okay. We'll let that die. Not ideal, but it's fine. Library of Alexandria with this deck. Patchwork Automation. Okay, so that's what they're trying to do here. We'll throw out that. Okay, so their artifact plan is not going to go off. At least not yet. Okay. Darkseal Citadel. Skateboard. That's cute, by the way. So they will tap. Oop. Chalice of the Void was tapped, everyone. They got us. Ooh, Pithing Needle. Okay. I guess that's another lock piece you could put into the sideboard, but we'll talk about that again at the end of the stream. I mean, what did they name? Polluted Delta? Oh, okay. So from there, we can't actually now play our Polluted Delta. That's actually kind of awkward because you can see that they named it, so now we can't sack it. That's fine. We don't need it per se. Captain Cannoneer. So Snuff Out. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's Ward 4. All right. Dang it. We still can't deal with that because also the Polluted Delta alone, they couldn't be sacked. All right. Wow, our opponent actually got us. Okay, Undercity Sewers. So from here, let's see if we get here. Okay, got another Delver. I don't know if that's going to help us. We'll try. We need to sponge one hit. One hit from the Kappa Cannoneer. If we could do that, maybe we can get a win, or at least try to sneak around their plan. Oh, never mind. Okay, well, they got 2 Kappa Cannoneers, so that's poop. All right. Yeah. Our Snuff Outs normally work here, but not against this because the Ward 4 already is enough. Might as well be Hexproof. Go to 9. And then once that untaps, now we could get rid of 1. Just 1. So yeah, can't activate that. Okay, they got us. They got us. So I'll take my L there, everyone. Wow, they got us with their with the Pithing Needle. Surprise, surprise. Not what I was expecting today. But it is what it is. Okay. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, we aren't going to stream too much longer, everyone. We're looking at probably like the next 10, 15 minutes most at max. So that probably means we're probably looking at maybe like 2, maybe 3 more games, depending on how long this takes. But after that, again, I will have to cut it a little short today, everyone. So I do apologize for that, but don't worry. We will, of course, continue our streams like we always do next week. But as always, I will like to announce that later on, once I know for sure I have a much more concrete way of figuring things out. Okay, we're playing Meticulous Archive. Okay. Opponent. Okay, we'll get our Watery Grave. Let's play Grafdigger's Cage to lock them out. Chalice of the Void. For free. Lock out free spells. So no free artifacts for our opponents. Okay, nice. We have at least a daze if we need to prevent shenanigans from happening. Okay, Misty Rainforest. Sack of the Misty Rainforest. Okay, opponents. Oh, Chris, and you you heard me earlier. I was like, okay, we have a little bit of time left. We can get like one more game in. And now you're telling me that the next thing is going to be like 30 minutes? Well, I sure hope it's not. Ooh, prismatic ending. All right, opponent is trying to get rid of that Grafdigger's Cage, but we can still deal with that. Bounce away our Watery Grave. We counter their spell. Okay, good. That did stick. Okay. Phew. Okay. So now we don't have any lands in hand, just not yet. Okay, we've got an Orcish Bowmaster, so I guess that's not bad. So we'll do it this way. Polluted Delta instead. If we need to in a pinch, we can sack to get the Fatal Push for max value. But if not, we simply just get the Undercity Sewers. Oh, to Fairy. Oh boy. Okay, well. The Fairy is going to be a problem for us, because he bounces away everything. Undercity Sewers. And also he prevents us from doing our thing. Ugh. This is going to be annoying. And of course this is the version that's also not, that's the regular version, so our opponents trying to bounce away our stuff here. And also now our counter spells are useless. So I don't know how we're going to get around this. I mean, our only option here is we got a Orcish Bowmaster now. Not that I want to, but we don't have a choice. Okay. Teferi goes bye-bye. But if we know they're playing with Teferi, that's going to be a problem. I'd feel more better if we had that Grafdigger's Cage back in, though. Okay. Anything else on it? Nothing. Okay. So for now, Undercity Sewers. Oh, you told me? Well, how dare you? Okay. I mean, hey, if it ends up being longer than I expected, at least now we know where our cutoff point is. Brainstorm. Ooh, okay. Okay. Can we get them with the Brainstorm block here? Opponents, you have to have a counterspell. All right, there it was. There's the actual counterspell. But they still get punished for this. So even without that second Orcish Bowmasters, we can still do a lot of good damage here. So they're trying to do their Brainstorm stuff, so their opponent's going to take a chunk here. Okay. Good. Ping, ping, and ping. One of my favorite things to do in Magic. Opponents. Do they crack the Flooded Strand, though? Oh, Solitude. Okay. Opponent's got a free spell. Annoying. We gain life off of that. They still take damage from that, though. Okay, so a Solitude on top. And it's a 5-drop, so our Fatal Push also sadly does not hit that. They take 3, though. We swing and push them still to 9. Happens every time? Well, of course, when you jinx it like that, it will happen. Okay, so we've pushed through a Counterspell, a Solitude, Prismatic Ending, and a Teferi. I don't know how we're surviving, but we are. Put the Grafdigger's Cage back in. Okay, so at least we can prevent some shenanigans from happening. Opponents. If they have the Wandering Emperor, that's gonna suck. Okay, Flooded Strand. They go to 8. Okay. Mystic Sanctuary. Ooh, okay. So what did they get on top? Okay, so they got the Prismatic Ending again. But they only put it on top. They can't cast it right now. So it's not like a Snapcaster Mage. Okay, Solitude. Okay. Got him. Nice. Down to 4 opponents. Whew. Okay, we can't use that mana, but that's okay. The important part was we got around that Solitude before it was too late. Whew. Okay, that's 2 Solitudes to get around. Prismatic Ending is going to have to get rid of the token. So that's a free win for them. Okay, it's fine. Okay, Undercity Sewers. So we'll do it this way. Surveil. Did we get anything on top that can help us? Polluted Delta does not help us. We'll Ponder. Come on, deck. Filter me into something good. Okay, okay. Doesn't really help us all that much here. Okay. Okay. We'll shuffle that. This is risky, but we're going to shuffle. Come on, deck. Okay, got another Ponder. We'll hold on that, though. They have 1 card in hand. So we're going to have to keep the Mana Drain just in case, and the Fatal Push in case they have any creatures, any spells that I don't want to deal with. Okay. Still at 4, we're at 16. Another Grafdigger's Cage. That doesn't help us. So we'll Ponder again. Come on, deck. Oh boy. Okay. So here's how we do this then. I guess we'll set it like that. Decline. Play the Delver. So at least we're set up to flip it next turn. Assuming everything goes right. Okay. Opponents, nothing. Nothing? Can we flip a Delver here? We flip. Okay, now we got a clock again. And we also have a Sink into Stupor, so we have options again. Okay. Come on, deck. Oh, there we go. Yes, we snuck in the win there. All right, we got the victory. Nice. Woo. Good one. Very good. Okay. So looking at the clock, everyone, the next game here is going to be our final one for today, everyone. Again, sorry that we are going to cut this short, but I have to wrap things up a little bit quicker than normal because of reasons. So, still as appreciation for you guys, I will show you, of course, as always, we'll do our usual wrap-up, so don't worry. We'll still do that. But before we go, win or lose, we're going to lock in for this one, everyone. Let's see if we can get one more win today. Just one more win, and hopefully we'll end on a good note. But even so, I definitely will have a lot to talk about with this deck in the wrap-up once we're done here. But let's see. Let's see how this goes. Can we get there? Okay, so first off here, okay, so we got the Brainstorms, the Force of Will is here. Bowmaster will be nice once we get there, but let's see. We'll hold this. Play here, take 3, and pass. This way we can Brainstorm if we need to. I know we get kind of locked here, but it might be best to see. Okay. Faithless Looting, okay. So, Reanimation deck. Oh man, if I only had the Grafdigger's Cage right now, this would be so hilarious. Let's see. They're going to dump Watch. It's going to be like Valgavoth, or it's going to be like... what was it? Well, what else could they dump into the yard? Mikey and Raph for getting a bunch of free stuff. Gonna be an Ulamog? Oh. Huh. A mono red deck? Okay. Maybe it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so then we put 2 cards back. Put back the Brazen Borrower and the Mana Drain. We redraw the Mana Drain. Undercity Sewers. We throw away the Brazen Borrower for now. And then we'll go from here. Okay, let's see. What does our opponent play? Are they just mono red? I mean, that's cute if it is. But at least we have ways of getting around them. If they try to do anything crazy. Swift Sphere. Oh, okay. It's fine. Opponents. Sticky Fingers. Huh. Bounce that back. Okay, so they hit us for 2. I swear, if we're going to lose from a mono red deck, that's going to be hilarious. I mean, even if they beat us right here, I won't be mad. It's actually kind of interesting. Okay, we will put back... Okay, ironically, the Force of Wills actually might hurt us here more than I thought. So, let's see. Do it that way. Get the Undercity Sewers again. So, from here... Oof. Their mono red deck is in a good position right now to stop us. They have an interesting deck design, though. Down to 10. Okay. The light of the stage, ironically, does get around our plan here, but we will mana drain that. So let's see. So that gives us the mana we need for a moment here. And then from there, we can, let's see. Bowmaster. Aim for 1. Undercity Sewers. Keep the days on top. And then we go from here. Well, I actually might end up hurting ourselves here more than their burn spells. Huh. Not what I was expecting to finish this, but okay. Okay. Well, I mean, sure, when I play mono red, I end up getting blown out here pretty quick. Okay, Force of Will. Pitch that away. Ooh. Anything else, opponents? And they're only doing it off of 2 lands, too. Okay. Opponent's still swinging. So we gotta block where we can. Jump block that. Okay, opponent, anything else? We can't Force a Will again, because we don't have anything else. But now our own mana base here is actually going to hurt us a ton. Down to 3. Okay. Well, not quite how I was expecting to go out for the last game. A simple, little, janky burn deck. They're not even using any real rares. I mean, Faithless Looting, you can craft these for commons now. Okay. Okay. Just take it. Down to 2. Anything else about it? Eidolon. Okay, so for that, okay. Well, it seems at this point now, whatever we play, we're going to be dead. So, okay, Orcish Bowmaster one more time. No attacks. Can we get at least one? Can we destroy this one creature? Okay. If they sack that Mishra's Bauble, then that might help us out here a bit. Is our opponent that greedy? They are. They are that greedy. Okay. Opponents? Do they do the Faceless Looting? Okay. Okay. Well, we can't sneak in a sneaky victory here, but that's okay. Jump block here. Wow. Eidolon. Okay. Okay. That does get us a ping, though. That is hilarious. We get to survive a little bit longer here. Wow, we're just literally sort of living by the skin of our teeth. I can't believe that. Decline. Okay. So for this, we'll pay on 1. Down to 16. Ooh, boy. I don't know how I'm surviving right now against a mono-red burn deck, but anything they have now kills us. Faithless Looting. We counter that. Opponent does get bigger for a second there. So we have to block. At least the Chalice of Void does keep us alive a little bit longer, but not by much. Okay, Mishra's Bauble, okay. Still, that's cute. Okay, they get a peek at what we're doing. Ugh, we can't even sacrifice the Polluted Delta so we kill ourselves. Some way, somehow, we're still surviving, which is absolutely hilarious. So our opponent draws a card here, but that does mean their Swiftspear does die. That's hilarious. Got the Snuff out. 14. Okay, if they have any 2-drop burn spells, anything, that kills us. Wow, we're still alive. I don't know how we're still alive, but okay. Okay, lock them out here of their free Mishra's baubles. So at this point now, it's literally just... Hold on, let me see. Do they have anything that would hurt us here? I guess it would be the Eidolon that stops us? But they can't play that now because the Chalice of the Void locks them out. Down to 10. I mean, I'm still expecting we're going to lose at some point, but I might as well just get super aggro here. We got a mana drain. Okay, so that does help us survive at least one turn here. Oh my goodness. Are we going to get a sneaky win out of a mono-red burn deck that got us down to 1? Oh my goodness. This is hilarious. This is so funny. Oh my goodness. Are we going to get a sneaky win? Oh my goodness. Is it possible? Did we do what was, I thought, almost impossible here? Oh my goodness. Can we pull it off? Is this right here the sneaky win against mono-red aggro? And don't get me wrong, I played many mono-red aggro decks where I was in this position and I just could not close out the game. So it is hilarious now being on the other side of the spectrum on this. Opponent, are you salty scooping now? The Chalice of the Voids, they actually came in handy. Wow, like putting this on 1 literally prevented them from playing any of their 1-drops. They can't play their Monastery Swiftspears. They can't play their Play with Fires. They can't do Bolt Waves, Sticky Fingers, Play with Fires, Kumamos. None of those can be played because we locked them out. And what was it? Their biggest mistake, of course, was the Mishra's Bauble. By sacking those to draw cards, that costed them because that was able to keep up our little tokens here. Wow. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Oh, trust me, like, I would always be that mono-red person on the other side, Chrisann, and I would always be super angry about situations like this. But being on the other side for once is absolutely hilarious. We achieved the dream, everyone. We locked them out. Blue lock. Did it, everyone. Yes. Oh, man. Oh, we got to highlight that one in a future highlight reel for us. That was absolutely nasty. Okay. Well, that's a great way to end the stream, everybody. Wow, what a finish. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they have to be super angry about that one. But there you go, everyone. So I think that now segues us into, again, how we can now talk about this. So blue lock, everyone, for the Timeless format. What do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? Again, I want to emphasize, this is arena budget. So again, if you want to spend like hundreds of dollars on Force of Wills, mana drains, and all that stuff, I mean, be my guest. You can if you want to, but I don't think it's not worth it in paper, at least. However, in arena here, 16 rares in the highly powerful format that is Timeless, I think that's pretty reasonable for what you're getting here. I mean, in the early part of the stream, we did kind of fumble a little bit, and we did have some, unfortunate draws. But even so, we managed to sneak in a couple of victories here and there. Affinity for Anime. Hi, Inferno. How's it going? Hello, my fire friend. How you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and thanks again for joining us. But I will say we're going to be ending the stream in just a little bit, but you can still stick around if you want to, just to at least see the wrap-up. If you missed anything earlier, man, we had some hilariously fun matches with this very, very dirty deck. But I still appreciate you being here. I always am happy you're popping in. But anyway, going back to the wrap-up here. So I will definitely say, I mean, what is there to say? I mean, Force of Will, there's a reason why this card is super duper strong and super duper expensive. We've had many games, as you saw, where you're able to literally just, tap out. Your opponent thinks they don't have anything in hand, and we sneak in cards like Force of Will. We were able to daze a Shieldred out of nowhere. We were able to throw off our opponent's game plan a lot with this one. The budget version, not too bad. I mean, again, you'll get your wins and losses, but hey, it still can get wins. So I will definitely say this is not too shabby if you're a person that likes to be a dirty, dirty mono blue tempo player. I mean, there might be some tweaks I would recommend for you, and it really kind of depends on how you want to build it. So if you want to do more stuff like Flood Pit's Drowner or Brimeboard Cutthroat shenanigans, we didn't get a chance to go off with them, but if you want to look at other tempo plays that maybe you want to try out, I mean, with the if you actually go into the Harbinger of the Seas plan, You could bring in cards like Master of the Pearl Trident here. They're not going to be super fast, but this can give your creatures Island Walk, making them unblockable, which is hilarious. You can go full on Flood Pit's Drowner and Merfolk Trickster if you want to try to, tap things down. But this is, again, if you're going to face off against more creature focused decks. Again, you're also going to be very low to the ground, so be aware of that. But if you go the Merfolk route, you can also kind of do like a sub theme of that with like things like Voldarian Hexcatcher here, which can give, again, your Merfolk an extra push of power. And also you can use these to counter non-creature spells. So this can be another option for you if you want to play around with that. But I honestly think if you're going to do that, well, you might as well just play Merfolk in Timeless. Not that that's a bad thing. That's still fun. Sneaky Toilet, hello my fire friend. How you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and thanks again for joining us today. My Huge Brawl deck is basically a blue lock, packed with counter spells, and you need Force of Will though. Yeah, I'm not proud of how I got my Force of Wills. I'm just going to say it right now. Spoiler alert, in order for me to actually get this deck ready for today's stream, I had to spend literally to get wild cards. Ugh, I'm not proud of that though. $20 to get Force of Wills and digital. Oof, that was painful. But if we had to do it, everyone, if nothing else, the deck did manage to actually succeed in what we were trying to do today. We did lock out opponents with Chalice of the Void. Playing this for free, again, locks out all those free spells. So again, if you tap down, if you put Chalice of the Void for free, remember, that will counter Crow Moxes. So this beats out Affinity decks. This counters the Mishra's Baubles. This takes out the Mox Obols, the Ornithopters, Tormod's Crypts, Zuran Orbs on the more the jank plan there, but it does counter those, so keep in mind that. I would probably tweak maybe the deck a little bit more, even in the budget version here, if I want to make sure I can play Chalice of the Void and still play my 1-drops. So FYI on that one. But still, even putting it on just a 1 or a 0 locked out a lot of decks from doing what they did. That last game probably was the best example of why I wanted Chalice of the Void and counter spells in this deck. It locked out a mono red aggro deck from beating us when we were at 1 life. That is a huge example of why this deck actually works pretty well against specific decks. Now, having said all that, if you can afford it, and I know it's expensive, definitely the Dimir version feels very, very good. So Force of Wills here. Snuff Outs thankfully aren't going to cost you any rares. They are commons, so don't forget that if you definitely want to craft them, but they can get some sneaky stuff in there. Orcish Bowmasters, I mean, what's there to say? This is a disgusting card anyway, but in our deck, it is hilarious, and it was great that it was able to shine today, so that was good for us. We didn't get a chance to use Brazen Borrower too much, but they are still decent in the deck. I don't know if I would maybe cut down a couple of Sink into Stupors to put in some more islands or more rare lands, so that's something I would probably tweak with the upgraded version of the deck. Mana Drain's perfectly fine. If you cannot afford Mana Drain, just use counter spells. So if you just want to do that, there's nothing wrong with that either. So what is it, like counterspell proper, i.e. Wild Rose Rebellion here? Use those if you want to, if you can't afford the Mana Drains. If you maybe want to cut the cost of the deck a little bit more, budget or non-budget. So mix and match with those if you like to. Can you play without Force of Will in this deck? And I know that's something that some people might ask me. You can. You can use Force of Negation as like a backup, but again, the deck really, really needs the power of Force of Will to ensure you can get some things to go off. Thankfully, again, cards like Daze, they're commons, so craft them as commons so you don't have to waste your rares on the Mystical Archive versions. I will emphasize that again. Find, again, these cards, non-Mystical Archive version, to get the cheapest versions of them, so that way you can put them in your powerful decks. Just an FYI. And at least the final thing I will say is, wow, main decking Grafdigger's Cage in Timeless is actually a must, because we ran into a couple of decks where you could tell they wanted to reanimate stuff, and we're able to lock them out with Grafdigger's Cage and Chalice of the Void. So that's the thing too. But that's also why you want Cling to Dust here, at least 1 copy. But if you don't need it, I mean, you could swap this out for maybe like your other Brainstorm or whatever. So FYI on that, everyone. Now that I think about it more, I'm not sure if the Mishra's Baubles might be good here. Maybe, I don't know. I would put in, there's one other card I forgot to mention here. So hold on. I'll do this real quick. So another option in the non-budget can be like Nethergoyf here. So this can be another way to give you a little bit more extra power based upon, again, whatever you have in the graveyard. So FYI on that, if you want to play around with that, that could be an option too. So forgot to mention that. But again, both versions of this deck will be available, budget and non-budget, in the details of this live stream when we're done in just a moment here. Okay. Chris San. Thoughts on Hydrophonics Architect? It is a... hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. Hydrophonics is it's a nasty little alchemy card. Chris, if you want to use this, there's nothing wrong with using it. Me personally, again, this is just me out of principle. I don't use alchemy cards, mostly because if people want to put together my decks in paper, I want to make sure that they can do a 1-for-1 perfectly of any deck I build, whether it's budget, non-budget, in paper, or in arena. I don't know. I'm still don't like to use alchemy cards. I have used them in the past. I'm not fond of them, but if anybody out there wants to use alchemy cards, you have that option. So don't feel like you have to stick to what I do my decks as. Again, this is just me doing it out of principle because I want to, again, make sure that people can build what they can 1-for-1 paper across arena or across, however they want to collect them. But again, it's a good card for what it does. Even if I don't like it, it is a good card for what it's trying to accomplish. Just an FYI. Only other thing I might consider for the deck is maybe, trim 1 Sink into Stupor for a hydroelectric specimen here. This can allow you to redirect something back over to this. So you kind of use it as like a pseudo redirect spell, at least to get something out of the way so you don't lose your Bowmaster or maybe your Brazen Borrower. That's another option for if you want to do that. One other card that I didn't mention, because I don't have copies of it, if you want to, you can use also in the 1-drop slot Tamiyo here. So Tamiyo can help you out. If you manage to flip her, then she can do a lot of good stuff for your deck. But you might want to tweak the deck a little bit more to accommodate for Tamiyo. That's just an FYI. If you're going to do this, then definitely you want to lean completely into Brainstorms and fetch lands for 1-drop Tamiyo. I unfortunately do not have enough mythics to craft her, so that's also the reason why we left her out of our version today of the non-budget one. Just as an FYI. Affinity for anime. Yeah, I pretty much stick to Brawl because it's singleton. I'm kind of new to Arena and my pool of older cards and wild cards is tiny. I hear that, but that's also the reason why we try to do these budget decks when we can, whether we're playing in Timeless, we're playing in Brawl or whatever, because I want to make sure that players like you that maybe don't have that many cards to work with can still play the decks and have fun with whatever you see me play on screen. Mystical Archives versions of the craft, yes. Definitely craft them at their lowest value. Days, do not spend rares on that. It is a common, so spend your commons and save your rares for the better cards. Just an FYI. But otherwise, that's going to be it for today on that end, everyone. So, before we go, as of course, my true fire friends for sticking around for this long, we're going to give you a little sneak peek as to what we're going to be building and doing into deck techs coming up. So I'm going to try to see, and it looks like I'm going to be falling behind a bit. There's a small video that I want to do that, and I'm sorry to say I couldn't get out a YouTube video this week, but I'm going to see if I can push out maybe like Sunday morning. So it's just going to be a simple video that's going to just help new players figure out what's the best way to learn Magic, because let's be real, all of us that enjoy Magic, we all have to admit it's a complicated game. So I'm trying to find a way to put out a very simple 10-minute video just to give you the basic idea of what you can do to help new players, or if you are still a newish player, how you can play Magic, feel more comfier with the game, and eventually build into a much more bigger comfort level where you can build your own decks. You can draft on your own and not feel too overwhelmed. And even me as an experienced player, I get overwhelmed sometimes with some of the draft formats we have, and even sometimes Brawl can feel a little overwhelming. But again, we'll go over that video hopefully Sunday morning. After that, we'll then build again and continue on with our series of budget decks that we usually do. So our next live stream, we're going to be doing a pest control deck. So this is going to be using a card that I was like, oh man, I got to do this one. So Witherbloom blessed us with Black Loafing Pest. So this is our next budget deck, everyone. And I figured we're going to make a pest deck all around black. So I'm looking forward to this one. This will be a cute one. This card, the moment I saw it, I was like, oh man, another creature themed deck. I have to do this. So that's going to be our next one. As for our next budget deck tech that we're going to be doing our next video, so it's going to be a week and some away, but we're looking on a cat oven deck. I know. Some people are going to say, no more cat oven, Infernoman. But you know what? The cat oven must be appeased because now we got a new cauldron that goes really well with it. So I'm still kind of mixing and matching a little bit here. This is not the final build because I'm still playing around with the ratio of how I want to do this. But so far, I'm liking that Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven. We have Arnin here, and we have Cauldron of Essence as a great little backbone for us here. But we're still going to play around with that. I haven't even built a sideboard yet, so that's coming soon. But that's pretty much just going to be the previews for now, everyone. Do not worry. We'll still, of course, cover every one of the schools in Strixhaven. So this will be, of course, us doing Witherbloom first. Well, of course, we'll do Prismari, we'll do Silverquill, Quandrix, and Lordhold. They'll all be taken care of course, not only their own deck techs, but also their own budget Brawl decks that I'm looking forward to building for you guys. So this will be great for us once we get those going. But that's otherwise going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you one more time to everyone that was here for me today. So again, shout outs to all of you that were here with me. So Chris and Togo, appreciate you being here. Letrin, thanks again for popping in and laughing for a little bit with me there. Thanks again also for Affinity for Anime for popping in, and Sneaky Toilet as well. Appreciate you guys. And everyone else that's been watching across all of my socials, what you're watching on X, Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube. Replays will be located, of course, in a little bit, so those will go up. So if you missed anything, check out the replay. There's definitely some fun videos that we managed to put into today's stream. But otherwise, that's going to be it for now, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend coming up, everyone. And don't worry, next week I will announce, as always, when our next live streams will be and our next budget deck tech. So until then, I will leave you with one important thing, like I always do. Just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. We will see you again next week, everybody. Later.